We go. All right, well, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Whether you're joining us live or whether you're just gonna pop in on the recording, welcome to everybody. And this is actually Wellness and You number 4. And tonight I'm your speaker. We were having some glitches with recordings and just Zoom itself and me needing to learn how to do some things. So I decided I didn't want to put another speaker in a situation where they might not, really be able to share all of their great info with us. So you get me tonight. So anyway, for those of you who might not know me, because I know this invitation has been shared, and please feel free to do that with your friends as well, because we just want to make this fun for everybody. So I'm Joanne Bostwick. I'm a registered nurse, but I have been an Arbonne consultant for over 15 years now. And I used to do a wellness group actually face-to-face when I lived back east in Pennsylvania. And we had so much fun with it that I decided, even though it had to be virtual now, we would give it a try, because it's just great to share ideas and to learn from other people. We've had some awesome speakers. One of them is on here tonight. That's Jacqueline Ray. She is our vegan health coach, and so she has just great ideas. So anyway, when you're here live, I love for people to be able to share or ask questions. So it's just real informal. It's fun and it's free. So that's what it's all about. Anyway, I thought tonight what we would talk about is something that Arbonne feels really strongly about, and Arbonne is the company that I work for. But whether you are using Arbonne or not, I think it still has value, and that's why I decided to share it. So it's like the mind and the body and the skin's connection. So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. So our body really works as a system. Sometimes we think of things as if it's kind of compartmentalized, but it really isn't. They're so intertwined. And as a nurse, I have seen this many, many times, where a physical situation is really affected by the emotional status of a client. So I kind of was very aware of this, and it made sense to me when we started talking about it in Arbonne. But anyway, it's all connected. And the secret to aging well is living well. And by that, what I mean is living a well-balanced life. Now, that includes things like making sure you get healthy nutrients, the things that we really need, things that we can really use for energy. So hopefully whole foods. We need to get enough sleep, quality sleep, and really kind of on a schedule. So we're getting regular hours, and our body kind of adjusts to the rhythm of going to sleep and getting up. And that can be really difficult for some people at times. So I do have options to help with that. Just let me know if that's an issue. Just reach out to me at the end. Also, just being able to manage our stress. Now, you notice I didn't say get rid of it, because we're never probably going to get rid of our stress completely. We live in this world, and there's going to be things that are stressors, but we want to be able to find a way to manage it in a healthy form so that it doesn't impact our thinking, and then therefore impact our body and how we feel physically. And that way it can also come up shown on our skin. So taking time for self-care. Self-care is pretty important. It's kind of the idea that, what they always tell you on a plane, if the plane starts to go down and you're with like a little child or something like that, make sure you put your oxygen mask on first. So I think of self-care as putting on my oxygen mask first, so that I can still be able to be the best me and do what I've got to do. And being a little older, I grew up at a time where sometimes taking time for yourself was sort of looked down on. And it was kind of the idea that, oh, that's sort of selfish, not self-care. But it isn't. And I think of some very important people who have been saying this recently, and even in ages past, when we look at ancient times, people knew they needed to take care of themselves and take time. So connecting with people and connecting with nature and really staying active, moving our body, whether we are even stuck inside the house right now, but moving and doing things. When we had Brad Berscheid come on, he's our fitness coach who spoke on our first Wellness in You. And he was sharing ways with us that we could still do stuff even from home if we felt like we didn't want to, get out. And obviously gyms were closed at that time. Now they're opening in different ways in different places. But so keep moving, connecting this way, even if you feel like you can't get out face to face with people, is obviously very important. And the thing that I think is maybe often forgotten about, but is probably one of the most important things, is keeping a positive mindset. And to be honest, I'm talking to myself. I really need to remember this. I'm still learning how important it is for that. So let's break these down: the mind, body, and skin. And I'm just going to say a few more things about each of those topics. So under mind, I want us to think about mindfulness. Now, to me, mindfulness means thinking about what I'm thinking about, because so often in my head is running this whole dialogue that I may not even be aware of sometimes. And I'm telling myself things that might be very negative. I might be grouching about the technology. Ask Jacqueline, she heard me last night. And it's like, what was that, Cindy?
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah. Well, I found myself repeating over and over again, like off and on, oh, I'm just so technology challenged. And I realized I got to stop saying that. I got to say, well, I've had a struggle with it, but I'm learning. I'm going to conquer it, because, that may seem like, well, that's just a lot of hooey, or, so what does that do? But I have found some really interesting books recently, and some online information about some of the recent research. They have actually been able to show how brain cells and the connections between them are different when we are speaking positive or thinking positive thoughts. Yep. And as opposed to when we are thinking negative thoughts. It's quite complicated, so I won't say that I understand it all. The one book I was reading, I'm like, okay, I get that it's really good, but I'm not following all of the technology, the technical kinds of information that she was giving to us. But it was so fascinating. So if you think it's hooey, it's really not. We can prove it, at this point. And I think of my favorite book that actually, one of the things it says is that the power of life and death is in our tongue. And you know what? When we think about that, that's so true. I can change how I feel about my day, and I can change how somebody else feels about their day when I am thinking, and particularly when I'm speaking out the negative. Now, it's not that we're never going to think negative, because we're gonna, but we can, turn it around, and we don't have to say it out loud. And there seems to be some real connection between speaking it and just thinking it. So anyway, that's a whole nother subject. I have one lady, I'd love to get her to come on and talk with us a little bit more about it, because if you're like me, I think it's fascinating. But anyway, so we could try things with our mind, like beginning a gratefulness practice. And probably all of us have tried this for a little while, but I have one acquaintance that I know, she runs a group that I go to, and she has been doing this for so many years. I forget how many volumes or like journals that she has. And she said, I have not repeated even once one thing I'm thankful for. She is so good at being able to hone in on what she's grateful for, and she writes it down. Again, sort of like the speaking out, there's a process in our brain that as we write it, It becomes something that changes our thinking. So before you go to bed, find 3 things you're grateful for that day. It could be that, your dog came over and, just did something that made you laugh. It could be anything that you
Is
want.
that also referred to as like words of affirmation?
Yes, it can be. Like it's literally just journaling. Today, I'm so happy that the electricity came back on and allowed me to do this.
Yeah.
That'll be what I will write down. One of those tonight. I'll be able to say, I'm so glad that we're in a place this week that's so different than last week. The smoke has stopped coming in, at least where I'm at.
I want to add something to what you're saying and
Sure.
recognize the pattern of doing this practice that you're saying by acknowledging positive things. It actually does. It changes the brain waves in the way we think, and over time it becomes a habit. And once a habit forms, it really rewires the way you think. And I just wanted to say I believe in that. I've seen it, and I've heard about it too. So it's really
Yeah,
cool.
that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And that's what I want this to be, a back and forth kind of thing. So thanks. I really appreciate you doing that, Jacqueline. So I was trying to think of what else I had. Just taking some time to be still and to be quiet. I think sometimes, even if, like we just always have something playing in the background, there's music always playing, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But there are times where I think we need to just take maybe 5 or 10 minutes to be quiet and to be still, to think about our breathing and just kind of making it easy and calm. We don't think about our breathing, and that's so, so important because everything needs oxygen in our body. So, that's part of the mind and the body connection. When we get relaxed and we're breathing more comfortably, it's important. So anyway, I'm digressing. So let me stick with my notes because I always promise that this is going to be short and sweet. So also kind of staying in the moment. I was having a conversation with somebody today, and we were talking about that we can get so fearful and kind of start thinking about, well, what's going to happen next week? And, how am I going to, but sometimes when we're just taking this time to be quiet and to be grateful, we need to stay in the moment. I don't know what's happening tomorrow. I can't control that. But what I can be is thankful for this moment and what's happening and, just where I am right now. So anyway, just my opinion, but I think it's backed by some other people who have actually done a lot of research for it. So now as we move from the mind into the body, I just wanted to say that when we improve our body's nutrition, and I know Jacqueline will really be able to speak to this as she was our speaker the last time, but we need to improve our nutrition, getting things that are actually going to be able to be used for the energy that we need for all the body's processes, and also getting our gut health in order, so to speak, because so much depends on a healthy gut. Probably our immunity, it has a lot to do with that. That's a lot of the research that's been shared is telling us that. And generally, when our gut is healthy, we're also going to have a better feeling of being well at that point. So that's important. So our diet's going to play a huge role. And then as we think about the skin, I just want to remind everybody that the skin is actually one of our organs. People don't tend to think about it like we think about our heart and our kidneys and our lungs and our liver as organs, but so is the skin. And it's our largest one and kind of the first line of defense, so to speak, because if our skin is broken down in any way, it actually can allow for infection to get in. So that's why, we always want to make sure we take care of our skin. And it's got to be nourished as well, but it's going to get nourished from the inside to the outside, as well as if we're putting, quality products on that are going to help to nourish it. But really it starts inside because you can put all kinds of stuff on.
I think that it's wonderful that you mentioned about the food having an effect on like our appearance, the way we feel, our mind, everything. And also, while keeping in mind that diet is number one with, how we function and being able to, perform our best by eating healthy foods. If
Right.
you're not putting healthy foods in your body is just gonna, it's gonna fall apart.
Right.
So basically, what you're saying is true. And what I wanted to add to that was normally humans, we have more of an alkaline pH. So the foods that you want to eat to heal and to help your skin heal are foods that are more alkaline. So I just wanted to add that.
Great. I'm so glad you shared that. Later, I'll share something about our 30-day to healthy living program that we have from Arbonne, and it's free. It's something that people can hop on and just get recipes. Jacqueline, you might enjoy. I can tell you how to get to that if you want, because you would have awesome recipes and things you could share.
Awesome.
But I'll share a little bit more about it later. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. I do apologize. I wanted to tell you something. Oh, but that's one of the things that they have shared with us is that keeping the system alkaline. So I would love for you to share a little bit more with us on another time if you could come back and maybe talk about that.
Okay. Yeah, that would be a really good topic to jump into, I think. I've done a lot of research in that area, so.
Perfect. That would be great. I know I would like to learn more about that because even as a nurse, I didn't really know how that affected us as much. And I still think I need to know a lot more. So I would enjoy learning about that. So
Cool.
Put that in the back of your brain. We'll have you come back and talk about that. Okay, so it needs to be nourished from the inside out, balanced diet, even some supplements to support if we need. And then as we begin to incorporate the things that I mentioned before, like the good sleep habits, getting plenty of hydration, and then having a good skincare routine that you do twice a day, not just once, but twice a day, only has to take a few minutes. It really doesn't take long. And you're going to begin to see the difference then in your skin because of everything else that has been connected. So I love that as an Arbonne consultant, I do get to help people make kind of healthier choices, not just for their skin, but also for their nutrition, because we kind of have it all. So if you can't tell, I'm kind of proud of my company, but I don't want to belabor this because this group is not for selling, but I do offer always something that might be helpful if you want it. But please, let's just see if we can get some tidbits out of this. But I will be sharing a little bit about how Arbonne does it. Doesn't mean that that's the way you've got to do it. So I like our stuff because it really works for one thing, and it's easy to stick to. So I think that helps. Everything that we have, whether it's something you're taking in as nutrition or whether it's something you're nourishing your skin with, all of our products are vegan. They are gluten-free. They are non-GMO. They're cruelty-free, and the list goes on and on. So just so you know, it's a really high-quality product, and our food sources are all whole foods. So that just means it's something that our body can process much more easily, kind of the way it was supposed to, I think, in the very beginning. And I mentioned that 30 Days to Healthy Living group. It's a Facebook group. If anybody's interested in that, simply put it in the chat. I want to know more about the 30 days, and I'll know what it is, and I'll reach out to you. But it's free again, and it's just to kind of help support you as you take 30 days to just eliminate and then add back in some healthier things. And it kind of gives your body time to adjust and begin the development of some better habits, like you were mentioning, other things becoming a habit and how that affects things. Getting the right kind of nutrition in and in the right way helps our body, our body's intuition a little bit better to choose the right foods. It's not easy in the beginning, but it does become that habit, and it makes it easier so that you kind of know what's going to be best for you to eat at that point in time. So, and something else I'm looking at my notes here, sorry. But also, as we get our gut health balanced, it's not just your gut that feels better, and not just the immunity that is supported, but our cognition, our thinking is improved. Again, that's some of the research, and we could spend a lot of time talking on that. I guess you'll need to take my word for it tonight, or that's something we'll come back to another night when we get talking about things. But so Arbonne's got nutrition for us. It's also got amazing skincare. And I'm bragging on our new product line that just got launched about 2 weeks ago now. And it's called Age Well. And I think that's really kind of appropriate. But this is like a premium luxury skincare. It's, of course, all vegan, as everything is. And it really is cutting edge, because what we've got is something called bakuchiol. And this is a plant. Yeah, I said it. Woohoo! I wasn't sure I would say it right. We were laughing about that last night when Jacqueline and I were talking. But bakuchiol is actually a plant that is an alternative to retinol. And retinol is used in medication type things, from dermatologists for a long time. But bakuchiol is much better tolerated, but it has the same effect. So it's like, woohoo, I like that idea, because I can use it. It's plant-based, so my body is going to be able to use that, process that much better. It's going to be safer for me in that respect. So I love that idea. And it has some other things. I'm not going to belabor it, but I just like it because you can get all 6 products for an amazing price right now. So it's not, although it's a luxury, product line, it's really very reasonably priced. So if you're interested, reach out to me. I don't want to belabor that anymore. And we do have skincare lines for everybody. So we've got it for men, we've got it for women, obviously, and we have it for babies. We have things for teens and, younger women. So, and men.
Sensitive skin.
And sensitive skin, we've got it all pretty much. So anyway, whether you choose to use Arbonne products to, work on this connection between your mind, your body, and your skin, or you just kind of do it on your own, that's okay too. But please realize you can make a difference. I've met a lot of people who said, oh no, I'm just too old, I can't start this. Or no, I've had this sensitive skin, for too long, and I just can't do that. Yes, you can. There are ways of being able to work around some of the issues. And it feels good when we know that we have something that we can kind of take control over and do something to feel good for ourselves. And, when we feel energized, when we feel like we look our best, I really feel like we present our best selves to the world. And that's what we're here for that connection, and to help each other, and to, show our gifts, bless you, show our gifts that we have, or share our gifts, not share them, but share our gifts with those around us. So anyway, if you want to be your best you, I think these are some suggestions. So
Wonderful suggestions. I love it.
Well, yeah. And any thoughts, questions? Because that's really all. I like to keep it short.
I do have a question, Joanne. I know it might seem silly, but when you had mentioned that because the products were vegan or plant-based, that your skin would process it better. Why would that be? Can you explain that to me? Is it something scientific, or?
The way I have had it explained to me is that plant cells are much more like our own skin cells.
Okay.
And that's why now that is probably super simplified, and I'm sure there's a better answer. I'll try to look into it for you.
Okay.
Because I can, that's one nice thing about Arbonne. You can go in and say, I want to know more about this, and they're really good with.
That'd be awesome. I love it.
Okay, I'm going to write myself a little quick note here to why
So it's vegan because it's totally made out of plants.
Plants,
No other additives.
well, we do have some science in it, but even the science itself, everything has to be something that is able to be processed by our body easily. So in other words, we're not adding medication or anything like that to it. That's probably not the good way to describe it, but uh, did I answer your question or did I confuse you?
Yeah,
more?
I was just wondering how a product could be vegan, and that's because it's plants.
Yes, it's because
Okay.
it's plant-based. No, there are some other things that they're from plants. And if you look at our ingredients, it's going to look like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff in there. But if you look at the other print behind it, you'll see where it comes from. Like maybe it's from lavender, it's from olive oil or whatever, but it will have the chemical name for that processed oil, essential oil or something like that. So, and one of the things is that our ingredient policy is right out there for everybody to see. Like Jacqueline and I were going back and forth with some things that she wanted to make sure were not in the products because she has a problem with them. I hope that's okay to share.
Right.
Yeah, so I have to stay away from sunflower. It's in everything, even in the food too. So it's an allergen that I have. So I have to be very careful. And I always look at the ingredients and I always do my research. So we were talking about all the Arbonne products last night and going over the list that I had prepared of the things that I was interested in.
Yeah, and that way we were able to just pop right in and see each product and everything it had in it because they tell you everything. So,
Yeah.
so I guess that's why I feel so confident that I can at least tell somebody, oh no, this is not a good one for you, but let's substitute this one. So I have a whole list of substitutions that I'm sending to Jacqueline tomorrow so she could choose,
No rush.
So.
Take your time. I'm not in any rush. I'm just so happy we were able to, get to the bottom of that, and you were so knowledgeable. Thank you.
Well, Arbonne gives me what I need to be knowledgeable, so I'm thankful for that. So anyway, I see it's 7:30, so it's raffle time. So this week, kind of in honor of the new Age Well launch for all these new products for the face, I decided that the raffle would be a sample pack of what they call the Silky Cleanser. It's really awesome. And by the way, it does not have sunflower oil in it.
Awesome.
but anyway, I thought I would just have that as the raffle. So like from Cindy commenting and Jacqueline commenting, I'm kind of keeping track, of how many times. So every time you comment, even if you're listening to the recording. Now, I'm thinking that the chat will be closed at that point, but you'll be able to, I believe, see the chat where I listed my contact info. So number one, if you let me know, hey, I watched it, that's a comment. And I put that raffle ticket in for that. If you contact me afterwards with a question, I'm going to put that in as, that's a comment. So I just, because I want you guys to have a chance to win it if you want it. So, and if I contact you and I say, hey, you were my raffle winner, and you're going like, I don't want that, I'd rather have this, that's okay too. You can let me know. As long as it's something I can fairly easily put in an envelope and mail to you, we're good. So anyway, so the other thing I wanted to say is that anybody who listens to this and within a week, so we'll say till next Wednesday, because it's Wednesday, it's just easier to remember, Wednesday till Wednesday. So if anybody decides that they would like to place an order that is $75 retail, I will pay your shipping. And by the way, you don't ever need to buy retail. If you know you're going to love these products, which I can pretty much guarantee you will, and if you don't like them, you can get your money back. So if you decide you want to do that, I can show you how to become a preferred client. And this is easy to do. For like $29, you get 20 to 40% off of everything you want to order for a whole year. And So I can help you with that if you're interested. Again, do not feel like you have to buy to come on to this group. I'm just sharing it as this is my way of helping out. If you are interested, you don't have to do it though. So, okay, anyway, I just hope everybody got a little tidbit of something. And so here's some questions to think about this week. What kind of self-care am I going to do this week? How am I going to treat myself to that time? What kind of a goal maybe have you set for improving your well-being? I'd love to hear these things from you too, and they will count as a comment, okay? So, and that puts you in that raffle again. And maybe what kinds of thoughts have I had that are rather toxic for me? What thoughts do I need to replace? So like my example was, I got to stop saying, I'm tech challenged or whatever. I'm going to say, I am tech learning every day. I'm learning something new.
You're doing great.
So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Be blessed. I'm always here if I can help in any way. If I don't know the answers, I can often reach out to someone who does and try to find out. And stay tuned. Our next time we're going to meet is October the 14th from 7 to 7:30 again. I will send out a link, and I'm going to try to make sure that the link is a little easier because somebody was sharing with us that was a little tricky because you had to put in a password. So I hopefully will set it up so next time, so you don't have to put a password in. Once you hit the link, you're in, and then I will admit you. So I think that's everything. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining.
Thank
Cindy,
you, Joanne.
you're welcome. It's really good to see you again, Cindy.
Good
Thanks.
to see you too.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Have a good night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.